So it was about a lot of types of structure, organizational structures. Yeah. And the need for strategy audit, that was about chapter 7 and chapter 8. The question number 1 for today. Yes, Vishal, could you read out the question, please, from the screen?
Once Private Limited is dealing in multi-product like electronics and FMCG and have outlets in different cities and markets across India. Due to scale of operation, it is having technical difficulty in dealing with distinct product lines and markets, especially in coordination and control related problems. Identify and suggest an ideal organizational structure for Once Private Limited in resolving the problem.
Yes, very good. Now, what is very important for us to understand is that what is the problem that they are actually facing? So please mark it in your head or mark it in your mind that the problem is regarding control and coordination related problems. Control and coordination related problems. So these are the keywords. So if you remember the various forms of structure, let us quickly just recap in our minds the various forms of organization structure. I'll begin with the first one, simple structure. Simple structure. You have like a manager and then a subordinate and some 2-3 people working. So in a very small organization that works, simple structure. Do you guys recollect any other type of an organizational structure?
Functional.
Yeah, functional. Yeah.
Divisional.
Yeah. Yes, Akhilesh, what is that?
A divisional structure.
Divisional structure. Very good. Functional. So simple, functional, divisional. Anything else that you can recollect?
Multi-divisional.
Multi-divisional. That is also known as?
Yeah,
M form.
M form.
Yeah, M form. Okay, multi-divisional. Anything else that you can remember?
SBU.
SBU. Yeah. SBU, strategic business unit. SBU structure.
Matrix structure.
Matrix structure. Yeah, we have something called matrix structure where the information flows horizontal and vertical. Next one, anything else that you can recollect?
Network.
Network.
Yeah, network structure. Yeah, network structure where you have, outsource a lot of activities, get contractors to do your work and finish that work off, right? Because you're in like a quick need to get that short work done and completed like that. Okay, so a network structure. Anything else?
Hourglass.
Hourglass structure. What is an hourglass structure?
No, job of middleman is reduced.
Yeah, middleman is reduced. Top is?
Top and lower level. They are the main constructed 3-layer structure, constructed middle layer.
Very good. So very, very restricted or a small middle layer, but top layer is wide and bottom layer is wider or lesser wide than the top. Bottom is widest. Okay, so bottom is more wider than the top, right? So that is the hourglass structure where the middle management is skewed. Very good. Hourglass, you finished network. Anything else that we're missing out? So we have
no, all
simple, functional, divisional, multi-divisional, network, and then you said hourglass, and then matrix. There's one more. What is that?
SBU.
SBU, ma'am.
Yeah, you said SBU. Right. Awesome. Right. So these are the 8 types of structures. And so looking at the question, let us understand what this company is into. It's dealing with multi-product. Okay. So it has a lot of electronics, a lot of FMCG products. So is it possible in this case to have an SBU structure? Is it possible to have an SBU structure in this case?
Yes.
Yes, it is possible, but why it'll be very difficult is because they have so many electronics and so many FMCG products. So SBU is when you have a fewer number of products, like for example, say 7 products. Okay, so when you have clearly 7 products in your portfolio, you can have an SBU. For product A, we'll have this. For product B, we'll have this structure. For product C, we'll have this structure. But when you have so many things, you have electronics, you have FMCG, everything. You have mobile phone, you have mixie, grinder, you have FMCG products, which means, say, eatables, chips and all that. And then you even have shampoos, soaps and all of that. So when you have so many products, it is difficult to have an SBU structure. Okay. And also in this question, the main answer would lie in the problem that they're talking about, which is coordination and control related. Coordination and control related. So the M form structure helps in resolving these problems, coordination and control related problems. Okay, let's first discuss the answer and then we'll discuss what are our thoughts on the answer. To deal with the problems, we suggest a M form structure is composed of operating divisions where each division represents a separate business to which the top corporate officer delegates responsibility for day-to-day operations. Okay, so you even have to write what is an M form structure. By such delegation, the corporate office is responsible for formulating and implementing overall corporate strategies and manages divisions through strategic and financial controls. What happens is, if you do not have an M form structure, the top managers, they'll be involved in the routine day-to-day. Has this person paid money or not? You had to deliver the goods for this person. Did you do that or not? Right. So day-to-day problems, they'll waste their time on that. They will not have time to do major strategic decision making. Right. So it was developed in 1920s in response to coordination and control related problems in large firms. This is your keyword, which will tell you that this is the kind of structure. Functional departments often had difficulty dealing with many products and many markets, okay, especially in coordinating and controls. Costs were not allocated to individual products, so it was not possible to assess the individual product's profit. Loss of control meant that optimal allocation of firm was difficult. Top managers became involved in solving daily problems, routine problems, and they neglected the long-term strategic issues. Right. So while I read the question, it occurred to my mind that, why can't it be SBU? So then I understood that SBU is only if you have a few products, right? Do you have any such conflicting things when you see this answer? If you do, then we can discuss that now. Or are you clear that it's M form?
Oh, clear, ma'am.
Clear? Yes, Vishal, are you clear as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, do you think that any other answer could be possible?
No, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Then let's go on to our question number 2. Delta is an organization specializing in ITES, okay, information technology enabled services and communications business. Previous year, the organization had successfully integrated an AI tool named Zeus into the existing ERP system. The AI tool using deep learning technique. Okay, guys, what is deep learning technique? Heard of this term? Heard of machine learning? Yes. We've heard of machine learning?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, deep learning is one more like a detailed or a subset of machine learning. Deep learning is where they use many layers and the machine understands. It could be monitored or not monitored, structured and unstructured, right? Deep learning is machine learning, basically. So using machine learning, what they did is that AI tool, it provided a transformation in many operations and processes. It has significantly diminished the role played by specialist managers of the middle management. Oh no. So what's happened is the middle management has been skewed. We've discussed this in the first question. This tool, in addition to saving cost by replacing many tasks of the middle management, are also served as a link between top and bottom levels and faster decision making. The skewed middle level managers now perform cross-functional duties. Okay. Which type of structure is the company transitioning into?
Matrix structure.
No, not matrix. So the middle level is getting reduced.
Hourglass structure.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Hourglass.
Hourglass structure. Yeah. Hourglass structure is what we're referring to, where the middle level is getting skewed, right? Yeah. So if you remember the diagram of hourglass structure, so all these diagrams help in brownie points in the exam. Okay. So here we go. I'm sure you all remember. Okay. So wide at the top, You have to write the description also. Wide at the top, narrow in the bottom, and widest at narrow in the middle, and widest at the bottom. It is the widest at the bottom, right? Yeah. So it's the hourglass structure. Now let us see. We all know the answer is hourglass. Okay. There's no two ways about that. But how to present the answer is what's going to get us marks. So just try and look at how the answer is being presented. The company is transitioning into the hourglass organization structure. Underline hourglass in your answer, because it has used some tools to transform the many business processes that were earlier done by the middle management, right? The tech tool, in addition to saving costs. So here they're just repeating the question. The tech tools saved costs and also helped us a link between both the levels. Okay. All these factors indicate towards an hourglass organization structure, and then they have the diagram. Clear? Very good. So 2 easy questions. Wow, let us look at this real life situation. Okay. Connect Group was one of the leading makers of the mobile handsets till a few years ago, and which went at the bottom of the heap. Connect Group didn't adapt to the current market trends, which eventually led to its downfall. Which company are we talking about? Which company are we talking about here?
Nokia, is it?
Yeah. Hi, Mahati. I didn't know you were in the call. Mahati and Neil, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, ma'am. Sorry, I was a bit late in joining. Had something
No
else.
problem.
Happy New Year. Wish you the same, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, so we're talking about Nokia, right? So I'm sure you guys are pretty young. I don't think you've used Nokia, but we have used Nokia, and you have to be a user of Nokia to understand how good a product it was, right? You have to be a user to understand that. So when we had the Nokia handsets, and the battery life was so amazing, it would last for 3 days on full utilization, right? And we could throw the phone from like the second floor to the ground floor without any fear. From the table, it was an everyday thing. Like from the table, the phone falling was an everyday issue. We could even throw it from the second floor, right? So they were so strong, and they were super amazing in their battery life, right? And also the speed. And that time we had that keypad, right? Not the touch, the keypad. So Nokia had become one of the most favorite products in the market, and it was the leader. It was massive, right? It was massive, but something drastically went wrong, and that company, I mean, if it was now, it would be as good as Apple, right? Because it had so many loyal users. Nokia had so many loyal users. What went wrong? It's very imperative to know that Nokia did not adapt to the fast changing environment. They wanted to be as they were, right? So they did not, so while the other people like Samsung and Motorola, and all of them were, not Motorola, Samsung, and a few other companies, they were going for Android software. But Nokia had started with Symbian software, and it stuck to that. It didn't want to change. It was, it didn't want to change the software. It concentrated only on the hardware, right? So because it did not adapt to the change or the current market trends, it had to eventually dissolve, right? Which strategy would have helped Connect Group to change, adapt, and survive? Explain the steps to initiate the change. Now here the question is, how to initiate the strategy changes, right? So Connect Group has to do strategic change for its survival. The changes in the environmental forces often require modifications in the existing strategies, and you have to come up with new strategies. Otherwise, it's very difficult, right? It is a complex process that involves a corporate strategy focused on new markets, products and services, and new ways of doing business. Unless companies embrace change, they're likely to freeze, and they cannot deal with the dynamic environment. Therefore, the 3 steps for initiating changes are, okay, I understand this is a theoretical answer and it's a general answer, difficult to remember, right? But let us try and understand what the answer has to say. Recognize the need for the change, why I have to change, okay? Because otherwise I'll not be able to be at the top of the competition. Otherwise, I'll have to drain out all my resources, right? Create a vision to manage the change. Now you have to communicate that strategy with the entire organization so that you're able to manage the, you're able to create a strategy in a holistic way. Yeah, everyone in the organization needs to be involved. It's not that, okay, I think today this company is going to do that and I don't communicate with anyone. How is anyone supposed to know, right? So there needs to be communication so that no conflicts arise. And institutionalize the change, which means put it in action. Put it in action, right? 3 easy steps for strategic change. Number 1, all of you tell me number 1.
Recognize the need for change.
Yeah, need. Why do I need to change? Number 2.
Create a shared vision to manage the change.
Yeah, a shared vision to manage the change. Number 3.
Institutionalize.
Institutionalize the change. All of you, please repeat these 3 points in your head. So when such general answers are there, we generally don't like these general answers because it's very difficult to remember. So what we're going to do is try and repeat it in our heads 3 times. 3 times, all of you. Recognize the need for the change, shared vision for the change, and institutionalize the change. Put it in action. Last point here is important. Creating and sustaining a different attitude towards change is essential to ensure that the firm does not slip back into the old ways of doing things. How many times have we tried to change our habits, right? We think, okay, I'm going to join the 5 a.m. club. I'm going to wake up every day at 5 a.m., right? And that happens for, say, 3-4 days, and then we slip back into our old practice. So you need to have like a sustaining attitude to ensure that you do not slip back into the old ways of doing things. Awesome.
Ma'am, one doubt.
Yeah.
If question 3 didn't have the word change in it and just asked why was it lacking or where was Connect Group lacking, could it also be due to not adapting or taking up business process re-engineering?
Business process?
Re-engineering. If they just asked where is it lacking instead of mentioning the word change.
The word change in the second paragraph here, right? Which strategy?
Yes, if that line wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
Could the answer?
It would be business process re-engineering. Yeah, it would be BPR. Right. So this question is specifically because it's asking the steps to initiate the change. That's the answer. Yes, otherwise, yes, definitely the answer would change.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. Quick revision of the 3 questions that we've done so far. So question number 1 was on M-form strategy, right? You remember it was on M-form strategy. And the main problem in what the M-form solves is control and coordinating problems relating to control and coordination in the structure in the organization. The second question was on the hourglass structure. Yeah, that was the second question. And the third question was on this steps for change. Steps for change. All of you tell me the 3 points. Steps for change. Number 1.
Recognize the need for change.
Recognize. All of you scream. Recognize the need for the change. Number 2.
Create a shared vision to manage the change.
Create a shared vision to manage the change. Number 3.
Institutionalize the change.
Institutionalize the change. Okay, I finally got that word. Okay, question number 4. The audit committee of PETA Limited on observing a sluggish growth has advised a radical internal digital transformation. So guys, heads up. Anytime that you have audit, the word audit in your question, that question is important. A strategy audit was proposed to identify problem areas and correct the strategic approaches that have not been effective so far. So an audit was proposed to identify, okay. The auditor, while measuring some performance, has identified gaps in flow between order booking by the sales department and dispatch by the delivery department. So that means success of one department and failure of another department. So one department is doing very well, the other department is failing. With reference to Richard Rummel's criteria for strategy audit, identify and explain the correct evaluation criteria to be adopted. What do you guys think it is? Do you remember Richard Rummel? Now let us first discuss what are the criteria that this person, Richard Uncle, he has mentioned few criteria, right? Let us first discuss what are the criteria that he has mentioned so that we understand which exact thing is relevant to this question, right? So the code word for this, if you have your own, use that. Otherwise, Richard Rummel sounds like a very, very intelligent guy, right? So he's done CFA. He's done the CFA course. So Richard Rummel, CFA course, CFA C. C stands for consistency. F would stand for feasibility, cost. CFC, CFA course. A stands for strategic advantage, okay? CFA course, C. C is consonants. Consonants means trends, the changing trends. Can you recollect something from your class, from your theory class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. What we'll do is because this is an important question, we will look at it from the institute material once so that we get a hang of the answer. Richard Rummel's criteria for strategy audit, right? Consistency. A strategy should not present inconsistent goals between departments or between managers or between leaders. Okay. 3 guidelines help to determine if the problems are due to inconsistencies in strategy. Inconsistency in strategy. 3 points. What are they? First one. So say that there's some problem. Okay. My employees are unhappy. So what I do, I change the HR manager. I change my HR manager. I appoint someone else, right? But still my employees are unhappy, which means there is a major strategic change. It's issue related, not people related, right? So that means inconsistency. That means it's due to inconsistency. So first one, the problem is issue based and not people based. Clear? Problem is issue based and not people based. Point number 2, success for one department means failure for another department. That means strategies are not consistent. So which means I'm giving perks to one department to perform well, but those perks are not given to the other department. So they have no motivation to perform very well, right? So success of one department and failure of the other means inconsistency. And the third one is if policy problems are brought to the top management for resolution. Okay, so which means that I do not have good functional managers to handle the problems and everything is reported to the boss, right? Say, for example, I have a logistics company. Do you think that I have sound strategies if the drivers call me and say that, ma'am, listen, today 2 tires went missing. What can we do about it? No, I need to have some managers who can handle day-to-day problems. So in these 3 situations, it is the problem of consistency. Situation number 1, if the problem is issue-based. 2, success of one department, failure of the other department. 3, everything brought to the top level. Everything reported to the top level. Right? So 3 things related to consistency. Yes, guys, do you remember the 3 things relating to consistency?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So next is consonance. Consonance is relating to trends, where you have to, where the strategies are not working because I have not studied the trends in the market, right? So it's relating to trends. Third is feasibility, which means cost, resources, time, efforts, all of that, right? And fourth is advantage, competitive advantage in, say, for example, resources or skills or talent, position, right? So this is Richard Rummel's criteria for strategy audit. Now tell me, In our question, what are we referring to? Which problem are we addressing?
Problem of consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah,
Inconsistency.
problem of consistency. Very good. Mark this question is important. Problem of consistency. So it is, I want you guys to note that though we all know that the problem is consistency, you should always, show off a little bit in the exam. In the answers, you have to show off that listen, I know the other criteria too, and I know very clearly it is consistency. So you have to mention that proposes 4 criteria, namely the CFA codes, CFA, C for consistency, F for feasibility, A for advantage, and C for consonants. In the present scenario, the strategy auditor, while measuring the performance, has identified that one department is successful, other department is failing. This can be clearly identified as a consistency criteria, as the current organizational strategies are not consistent. 3 guidelines help in determining if it's consistency issues. So I want you to understand how they've structured the answer. Number 1, they're telling that, okay, boss, listen, I know the other criteria also. Number 2, they're even trying to go deeper and mention, like, state the obvious in your answer, state the obvious. That I know that this particular thing is consistency, but there are 2 other issues that help me in identifying that it's a consistency. Okay, let me test your memory now. Tell me, what are the 3 criteria that help in testing consistency problems? Number 1.
Issue-based rather than personal-based.
Very good. Number 2.
Success of one department means failures of another department.
Very good. Excellent. Number 3.
When all problems are reported to the top management.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, that's what the answer is mentioned. Going on to the next question. Keval Kapadia is the managing director of KK Industries located in Kanpur. In a review meeting with the head of finance, Kuldeep Khaitan, he said that in the first 5 years of last decade, the company grew between 8 to 10% every year, and then the growth rate started falling. And in the previous year, the company grew only by 1%. Okay, there are a lot of Ks in this. Let us understand what's happening. The name of the place is KK Industries. It is located in Kanpur. Okay. Keval Kapadia is the managing MD, managing director, and head of finance is Kuldeep. Okay. Keval is the MD. Kuldeep is the head of finance. Okay. Kuldeep, the head of finance, replied that the company is facing twin issues. One, the strategy is not getting implemented as planned. And 2, the results produced by the strategy are not in conformity with the intended goals. Okay. There is a mismatch between the strategy formulation and implementation. Keval, who is the MD, disagreed and stated that he takes personal care in implementing all the strategic plans. You have been hired as a strategy consultant. Advise way forward for the company to identify problem areas and correct the strategy approaches that have not been effective. Okay. Again, a general answer. The company needs to conduct strategy audit. Strategy audit is needed under the following conditions. Why do I need a strategic audit? Okay, just use your guesswork and tell me, why is a strategy audit needed? Guesswork or memory? Why do you think a strategy audit is needed?
Goals are not achieved.
Yeah, goals are not achieved. Next.
When there are inconsistencies in different areas.
Yeah, inconsistencies, goals not achieved. Anything else?
Changes.
Yes, one of you.
To see what strategy would work.
To see what strategy would work best. Yeah, to see what, what other strategy would work best. Yeah, anything else? Akhilesh, you were saying?
Changes in the environment.
Yeah, changes in the environment where, someone needs to come and tell me that, okay, this, a lot of people are using AI and other software tools, but your company, you've still not done that. Please adopt some good strategy and try to change yourself, right? So changes in the environment. I think you guys have covered all the points. Number 1, when the performance indicators reflect that my performance is not good, which means my marks are not good. Number 2, when the goals and objectives are not being accomplished. Yeah, I wanted to achieve something, but not able to do it. Number 3, when major, environment, like you said, environment. When the top management plans new strategies, like how she said, new strategies are to be introduced to ensure that a strategy that has worked in the past continues to be in tune with subtle internal and external changes. Okay. So maybe some tweaking is required for the strategy, right? So again, point number one, strategy is not working properly. Point number two, goals are not achieved. Point number three, external environment. Point number four, introduce new strategies. Point number five, tweak the existing strategy.